And when you start from that place, that you will grow and have a long-term perspective and think about sustainability of your company throughout time. And you're not thinking in short chunks of when am I going to get to my next sale or acquisition or strategic change. I'm thinking, how am I going to grow the tenets of my company and strengthen who we are as a people, as a culture, so that we live by these standards continuously.
Your business's success depends on relationships with customers, relationships with employees, and relationships with stakeholders. What do they all have in common? They're all human. Because no matter if your business is B2B or B2C, it's really H to H, human to human. Welcome to the Human Connection Podcast. I'm your host, Karl Pontau. Each week, I'll bring you stories, insights, and practical advice from experts that you can apply to your growing company and daily life. This week, I'm excited to connect with Lou Carter. Lou is an organizational psychologist, executive coach, and founder of Most Loved Workplace and Best Practice Institute. He helps CEOs build brands people want to work for and cultures where they actually want to stay. Through the Leader Show with Newsweek and his 12 books, including In Great Company and Change Champions Field Guide, Lou shows leaders how to align their values with action and create workplaces built on respect, connection, and performance. His work has guided organizations like the UN, Pfizer, and Bank of America, and he is a top 10 global guru in culture and MG100 coach. Congrats on showing leaders how to align values and action, and welcome to the Human Connection Podcast.
Karl, thank you so much for having me.
So I'm really interested in discussing with you how real leaders balance psychological safety with performance and stop letting entitlement kill their culture. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, I always say that there is a no-brainer hire and there's a no-way hire. And it's really important to know who that no-brainer hire is and the no-way hire is. And like you said, human-to-human connection is definitely part of that. The first step to it, and I'll let you know, is really self-awareness. It's figure out yourself who you want to work with, right? And who you want inside of your culture, because if you're scaling it, you want to make sure that you're scaling it according to your values as a founder, right? As a CEO, as a leader, because it all starts from you and your team, the people who you founded it with, your stakeholders, like you said. And once you know this, you deeply know who you are and the way that you succeed. Now you start scaling, right? It's that inner sanctum of the people around you where you perform at your very best that you must scale. So you can have right person, right seat in the right culture with the right values. Because if you recruit for skills alone, you're in for a world of hurt. And we can talk about that a little bit later with you, Karl. But the important point here is that figure out who you are first, how you succeed the best as a leader, then scale around that so you can find those no-brainer hires and keep those no-way hires away from you.
And it seems like so much of like the leadership doesn't really have that sense of self, or don't really have that sense of direction anymore, because they've, at least not long-term direction. I think the focus for a lot of companies has gotten so short-term that they aren't really, and they've kind of forgotten how to think long-term, especially as the data they've been relying on to make their decisions has become less and less reliable as things change so quickly and stuff is just so unprecedented. There's not necessarily a past experience to refer to. So they're having to rely more on intuition and their gut. And it was rooted in their sense of self and who they are and their identity. And if they haven't really gotten in touch with that, then they're have to try and rely on this thing that is basically like an atrophied muscle. And so I can see how there's these problems arise with their ability to bring in the right people, which requires knowing who they are when they haven't really got a sense of who they are, where they're going in a long time. And so they're kind of drifting.
Yeah. So, and that speaks to an issue it's very important, right? In looking at yourself and what kind of leader you are, you also have the opportunity to say, well, what else do I need around me? What mind shift do I require to become even better, to grow even more, right? So, we can't just surround ourselves with a bunch of yes people, right? We need challenge. We require growth in order to expand. And at the same time, with that growth, we have to have a foundation for what we're looking for in our values, the competencies that are required for our growth, and be really mindful around right seats and right people. Because people can have the best skills in the world, right? And if you need to hire up 100 salespeople because you just received millions of dollars in private equity, or you have to infuse a lot of capital and they're asking for you to push the hockey stick quick, it's important to take a step back at that point and realize that these short-term gains that you're going to have from infusing capital and new talent in could have catastrophic long-term effects for you and will cost a lot more to detangle that talent. So it is very important. AI does help. Tools do help in discerning red flags, yellow flags, and green flags, right? In talent and its connection to your values. And I do say values, hire for values and skill, not skill alone. So you're right. Data can point you in the wrong direction about talent. What you must do, though, is utilize your team and your collective consciousness, right? Your team who is closest to you to say this person will or will not fit, and then compare it against the data, compare it against how it generates, and make a ethical, high integrity choice as to whether this person is going to contribute to your growth or demise, because a lot of talent contributes more to demise. And if that's going to happen, save yourself millions of dollars and potentially down the road, again, catastrophic events, legal, financial, that could happen with the wrong talent.
Just from the way you gave that warning, it sounds like you have some case stories you could share of times when people didn't necessarily follow that advice as well as they should have.
Well, there's huge amounts of advice that people, that happen inside of companies. And I mean, you can look at so many companies. Circuit City, there's a perfect case of this. Blockbuster was a perfect case of these, right? These are situations where talent couldn't get in front of themselves. They couldn't get together. They couldn't make quick decisions. Some of the newest examples, right now, if you look out there right now, look at the companies that are going down, that are folding, that are being acquired, right? You can think what happened in these companies. You have talent that waste time and they don't move quickly. They're not agile enough. So they're taken over by competition, by more thoughtful, more innovative, quicker teams that can think in a more rapid sense. And that's what brings companies down. Teams that are slow rolling, teams that just have apathy. They don't care. They don't move quickly. If you compare it against companies that move quickly, Amazon, one of them, leadership principles of Amazon, even leadership principles of Tesla, of Elon Musk. There's a reason why these companies win quickly and efficiently. It's because of their exceptional talent and no nonsense approach to getting work done.
And so what are some of what's some of your advice that when you're working with companies on how they can improve their ability to hire the right people, or what's kind of like the tactics or strategies that you recommend people start with when they realize, oh, we're not doing this as well as we need to thrive and survive? What can we do?
You got to start from a good place, right? A place where you can be really, I would say, beneficial toward people, right? And you have to have that open mindset of, I want to help people grow in my company. I want to help people feel like they're part of something bigger than themselves, a community, right? And when you start from that place, that you will grow and have a long-term perspective and think about sustainability of your company throughout time. And you're not thinking in short chunks of when am I going to get to my next sale or acquisition or strategic change. I'm thinking, how am I going to grow the tenets of my company and strengthen who we are as a people, as a culture, so that we live by these standards continuously, and you focus on that one thing first. You shouldn't go to market or look for talent until you're super clear on who you are and what you're developing. Because if you go out there and you just bring in whomever you want from any place and you think, oh, I'll develop them up, we'll make them into who we are. Know who you are first. Know what you're developing first. Develop a culture that really matters to people, that does something for the world. Steve Jobs didn't say, I'm going to put a dent in the universe, for nothing, right? All the best leaders said this because they truly wanted to make a difference in the world. And different companies do that in different ways, right? Most of the workplaces that we work with, and you could check them all out, just by looking at the top 100 most of the workplaces, they focus on psychological safety. They focus on belonging. They focus on community. And they're in the CEOs I talk to, you could see this, you talked about my show before, with the CEOs I've spoken with, they say this one thing: they really are psyched because they earned it. They earned it. And they know that it is a group of mature adults inside of their company, not people who just take advantage and feel like they're entitled to something inside of their company that they're not. You earn a culture. Bob Wegman always said this, Wegman's grocery store, he said, you don't just get a culture. It's not given to you. You earn it, right? And people don't recognize it. They think, oh, come on, look at me, take me. I'm out of college. I'm doing wonderfully. Look at me. I'm an incredible Ivy League student. Take me in. No, that's not a reason why you get a job. Or the reason why you get a job is you earn your way into the job to help those around you succeed, right? If you look at let's just for a second, Karl, let's look at history for history lesson real quickly. I'll give a quick history lesson, which is we started in industrial revolution when people were really excited to have a job, so much so that they made their boss's life so much easier and better, right? The boss was delighted because employees came in and they did their job and they got the work done, right? Got into the tech age, right? And we did our work real well. We were experts. We got our salary and we went home because we were the best at what we did. Next, social networking revolution. Everyone comes in, the people who get hired have wonderful followers, and we can get access to YouTube at any point in time to do whatever we want. So everyone was an expert. Wonderful. Well, guess what? We're not there anymore. The great reset has happened and we are here. AI is taking over. Gen AI makes life easier for everyone. We are going full circle back to the industrial revolution. Make your boss's life better. So instead of making employees' life better now, it's everyone making each other's life better. Guess what? We're finally in the era where we're all making each other's lives better, because as humans, we're all working toward the same thing. Finally, making our all lives easier. Took a long time to get here. So instead of being fearful of this new AI age, we use GPT to figure out if people are going to help us. And that's what we've been doing here. Red flags, yellow flags, green flags. And next is, what's going to happen so I can make people's lives easier? Is my life better as a result of being you having you in it, Karl? Is your life, Karl, better as a result of having me in it? And at the end of this, we ask each other that. Did we expand our networks? Do we help each other get to our goals? So just as you and I do that as humans, everyone else does it. And what we're doing now here today is as important as what's happening now in this new age of AI, where it's no longer about the employee coming in all happy with knowledge and getting whatever they want. It's about us together getting what we want.
I think I really like what you just said about going from either the boss getting what they want or the employees getting what they want. It's we get what we want, because there is so much of a people being so focused on themselves all the time, especially in the US. There's like the individual first kind of mindset. And that just it's not sustainable or realistic when it comes to how human beings are actually wired and how we actually get along. Is we need that sense of belonging and connection and psychological safety, like you said. Even as much as people spout that, oh, they don't need help from anyone, there's a huge cognitive dissonance there with how their brain is actually wired. And so the shift of focus from either me or us to we, people involving other people and thinking about how can we help each other so everyone wins, is long overdue. And I think the sort of mindset shift that the world needs, because there are so many things going on that affect everyone. And so it's not enough to think that, oh, don't need help from X, so I don't need to worry about that. Or I don't need help from Y, so I don't need to worry about that. It's building a world that's as beneficial for as many people as possible, and having that we mindset is really a game changer that I hope catches off in a big way more and more and more.
Absolutely. It's a big shift. It's a big reset. And, instead of being, fearful of the reset, right? We can think of it in a much different way, which is when I go on an interview, if I go in a relationship, I ask first and foremost, this is what I need out of it. This is how I need help, because I know where I'm going. I know how to get there. And this is what I need. Right. So we go into an interview we interview, and we do interviews when our companies do interviews, and they hear something to the effect of how much PTO as the only question that an employee asks. Right. Or what are you doing for me only? Okay. It's great that here's the thing. Most of workplaces have wonderful well-being programs. They have great programs for women, for veterans, for parents and caregivers, for volunteers. They're for all different affinity groups, and they're phenomenally open and helpful and caring. It's absolutely incredible. And my hat literally says it. Most of workplaces, because my hat is off for these people, because what they do for employees is just absolutely phenomenal. Now, what I warn is that sometimes that can be taken advantage of. Employees can take advantage of it. And in my conversations with the CEOs of most of the workplaces, we always say that cannot happen, and it must not happen. And if it does, we have to show the exit, because people who, again, you earn your culture, you earn the relationship. You're not given the relationship for free. You earn it, and you help the company succeed, and you help the company and each other earn the culture. And that's what being a good corporate citizen is all about.
And so what's kind of if people take anything away from this episode, what's kind of the biggest lesson you want them to take away from it? The big thing that we always say is be the no-brainer hire, not the no-way hire. And a no-brainer hires come in and they say, on Monday, if you hired me, and they say this, by the way, if they're inside of a company anyway, on Monday, if you hired me, this is what I will do to help you achieve your goal, right? And in the process, I'm looking to succeed in this way. Can we get there together? So no-brainer hires are all about making each other's lives better. Is my life better as a result of having you in it? Is your life better as a result of having me in it? Because this is not family, okay? This is not family. These are people whom we spend our time with, and time is precious, very precious these days. And any day, if we really look at it, any day it's precious. And if we choose to spend time with someone,
let alone spend money on somebody, or that person spend their time on someone to receive money back, which we believe is a form of love, by the way, then we better be willing to make lives better and not worse. And that does mean that sometimes we say, well, how can I sacrifice a bit, right? And what does that sacrifice look like, right? And it's not just constantly about what can I do to make my life the very best life ever. It's how do I make my life to be better as a result of making your life better, and your life better is making my life better. So this new reset of collective intelligence, of collective good, right? That's where we're going in the world. That's where we must go in the world for us to survive and thrive past age of AI. If we're going to utilize AI and be better than process automation, we better darn well be better humans.
Love it. Well, thank you so much for connecting with me today, Lou. If you enjoyed this episode of the Human Connection podcast, please like, leave a review, and share it. If you'd like to connect with myself or Lou, check out the links in the show notes. And remember, no matter if your business is B2B or B2C, it's really H to H, human to human. Happy connecting.